So whenever you see two O's in English, it's really easy to just say, oh, it's a ooh, right? Like boo, like what a ghost says. But you got to be careful with that because sometimes two O's make an like 我很饿的noise. So for example, like good, good. It's not good, it's good. Now the reason that that happens is because English has changed a lot throughout the years. Now the difference with English is as it's changed, it never changed the way that it spelled things. So for example, in Chinese, you guys had an emperor that made sure all the characters were same. So that way everybody said the same characters. But English, we just wrote down what we heard. And so good was good at one point, but the thing is we never changed the spelling. And so it just stayed that way. And the big thing that you need to take away from this is you can't completely depend on the spelling to know how to pronounce a word. So we can't depend on the spelling. So instead, what we're going to do is find those words that have that exception that make the noise. And we're going to focus on those words from sections 6 to 10. And the first word we're going to talk about is good. Now good has two O's, but it has a noise. Now good, a situation that you would use it would be, let's say you're going on a picnic and you're trying to find a place or a spot to eat, and you're looking around and you finally find a tree that has shade under it and it just looks really nice, and you say, oh, this is a good spot. That would be one way to use good. Or let's say that you have a really big juicy piece of pizza and you're eating it and you go, oh, this is so good, or this is so good. That's another way that you would use good. All right, so the next word is spelled F-O-O-T, foot. Now, it has a instead of a oo, so it's foot. And notice when the T's at the end, I don't say foot. I just say foot. I just stop my breath in my throat to make the T noise, so foot. Now, a situation that you could use foot is, let's say that you have somebody step on your foot and it hurts and you go, ow, you stepped on my foot. Or you could be after, you'd be like, oh, my foot hurts because they stepped on your foot. Those are two situations that you would use this word. The next word that you could do is book. Book is spelled B-O-O-K. Now, book, you could just, like for me, I love The Hobbit. So I would pick up The Hobbit and say, this is my favorite book. Or let's say your friend is an author and they just wrote this huge book about animals and you're really proud of her and you say, she wrote a book. That'd be another situation that you would use book. So after seeing this, you're probably thinking, oh, well, when is it an noise and when is it an noise when there's two O's? Is there some kind of pattern I can memorize? And sadly to say, there isn't. There just isn't a pattern when it comes to these kinds of words. In this kind of a circumstance, the best way to think about it is to think of it just like you would with a Chinese character. For example, 我 is always 我, no matter what. Now, there are some characters that change in certain areas. For example, 了, like 我做到了. That 了 sometimes can turn into 了, like 了解, right? So you don't really need to worry about trying to find a pattern. All you need to focus on is how to make the noise and practice saying those noises so that the muscles in your mouth will be strong enough to say it the way a native speaker would say it, and so that you have the muscle memory, so that way when you want to say something, you won't have to stop and think about it in your head, which will result in you automatically sounding like a native speaker and ultimately just being more fluent in the language.